Does God pray to God? This is the questions, or one of the questions that Muslims do ask Christians whenever they are actually debating on the person of Jesus. You understand? We Christians believe that Jesus is actually God, but God in human form, and is what we call the tetrapos, 100% God as though not human, and 100% human as though not God. But the Muslims don't believe this. So they normally come up with this question: does God pray to God? Because in some passage of the Bible, you see Jesus praying to the Father, and they'll be like, if he is God, why is he praying to God? And Pastor Irene actually came with a strong apologia on this to explain this mystery, and I hope you guys also understand. So many Christians don't actually know, or most Christians will be thrown off balance whenever they encounter a Muslim ask them this question. Do you understand? So it's a good video that you should actually watch and pay close attention to, so that you understand the concept very well. Do you understand? So I enjoy you to actually watch and learn. Thank you.
Alright, so many people have been tagging me on this video, and I want you to watch it for yourself for a few seconds.
Does God pray to God? Does God pray to God?
Does God pray to God?
Yeah, does God pray to God?
How can that?
Doesn't make sense. You're right. So here, Jesus went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, "Oh my Father, if it is possible, let this cup
You're
pass
reading
from me."
Matthew.
Yeah, I am
Just
Matthew.
before he died.
Okay.
Before he got on the cross.
Okay.
The crucified.
Okay.
That's why he had to pray.
So, but he was
So
not.
when you-
So if he was God on earth, how can God pray to God?
You see, in this video and in many others,
Sorry to cut Pastor Erin. You see, the Muslims always come with this particular Bible verse whenever they encounter Christians. And also, if you look at it very well, if you like me, normally I like watching this debate on Christianity and Muslim. Though I'm not trying to say that I'm a over religious person, but I love watching it. You get. So most Muslims come with this Bible verse to say that Jesus is a Muslim, that Jesus actually worshipped as a Muslim, that you can see that he fell on his face and prayed to the Father. But if you now ask them, is God your father? They'll say, no, God is nobody's father. So how is Christ or Jesus a Muslim when he's praying to the Father? But they will still come with that same Bible verse to say that Christ is a Muslim, that he fell to his face and prayed. But who did he pray to? He prayed to the Father, which you don't even believe that God is your own father, because they don't believe that God is their father, that God doesn't have us as children, that we are not the children of God. They don't believe that. You can ask any Muslim to clarify. But let's go on with Pastor Irene's explanation.
it's a fundamental error, which is the error of the wrong premise, and it goes thus: if your premise is wrong, your conclusion will be wrong. So the logic of this argument, the premise of this argument goes thus: God cannot pray, Jesus prayed, therefore Jesus is not God. But is it true though? I'm going to prove to you both in the Quran and in the Bible that is far from the truth. I want to start with Hebrews chapter 1 from verse 8. I want you to follow me closely. In verse 8 it says, "But to the Son, he says, God says, your throne, O God, is forever and ever. The scepter of righteousness is the scepter of your kingdom." So listen, we see God praying to Jesus. What does it mean to pray? It means to communicate with God. And by Jesus being called God, it means that God was communicating with God, which is the Trinity argument of the Christian faith. Alright? And so here we see God communicating with God. So can God pray? Emphatically so. And in the Quran, in three texts, chapter 2 verse 157, 33 verse 56, 33 verse 43, it tells you that Allah prays. And you know, in the English translation it may use some other word besides pray, but the Arabic actually says salat or salawat, which is actually to pray. I'll read the last one, 33 verse 43. It says, "Here it is Allah who prays for you, and to the angels too, to bring you forth out of darkness into light, for he is merciful to the believers." So the Christian faith simply says this: that God is one God in three persons, co-equal and co-eternal, and God sent his Son into the world. And just because he's in the world doesn't mean he loses his ability to communicate, which is what we call prayer. And in fact, if you have any problem with the fact that Jesus prays, and you think that because Jesus prayed he therefore isn't God, think about it. in the prayers that he made, are these the words of a mere man? Look at John chapter 17, for instance. Jesus is praying here. And in verse 1 it says, Father, the hour has come, glorify your Son, that your Son may glorify you. What man would dare pray like this? In verse 2, he says, as you have given him authority over all flesh. Authority over all flesh. Even in the Quran, only God has authority over all flesh. And not just that, that he should give eternal life to as many as you have given to him. So he has the right to give eternal life to everyone who believes in him. Only God can do this. Jesus is God, and Jesus prays to God. Both are true. I hope that blessed you. Share with someone.
Yeah, you've seen it, and I hope you learn from this. And also, if you go to the Quran, there are many attributes that is only given to God. That means there are names that are given to God, which is the beginning and the last, the Alpha and Omega and all that, which is also attributed to Christ in the book of Revelation. So if you check it very well, you find out that Christ is God, that is Jesus is God, and all that. So I hope you learned from this, and next time whenever a Muslim kind of approaches you and said, does God pray to God, you know what to actually answer the person. Thank you and God bless you. Keep watching.